I still think to have a champion of NASCAR, that is a year-long championship.
Richard Petty has shaken the NASCAR world once again. The King didn't just share his thoughts, he delivered a wake-up call. In his latest comments, he blasted the Roval race, tore into NASCAR's playoff system, and questioned the direction the sport is heading. His message was clear and powerful. If things don't change soon, NASCAR may become a sport even he no longer recognizes. The Bank of America Roval 400 had its fair share of twists, SVG snagging his 5th win, Chastain and Logano battling for a playoff spot, and some late-race chaos. But if you ask Richard Petty, none of it mattered. The 7-time Cup Series champion didn't hold back in his Petty Race Recap podcast. Speaking with his longtime friend and former crew chief Dale Inman, Petty issued a brutal 6-word verdict about the race. All he had to do was stay on the racetrack. That was his take on Van Gisbergen's drive from P2 to victory lane, a clear jab at what Petty sees as a lack of real racing or meaningful competition. Petty emphasized that the frontrunners never changed much, and those who started up front mostly stayed there. In his view, it wasn't a race, it was a parade. It gets worse. When Inman brought up the dramatic scrap between Logano and Chastain for the transfer spot, Petty brushed it off. Why? Because those two weren't even competing for the win. Petty's stance is clear. If the best action is happening mid-pack, something's gone wrong. He didn't sugarcoat it either, summing up his take in just 6 words. To me, nothing was interesting in it. For a sport that thrives on edge-of-your-seat moments and close-quarters chaos, that's a devastating blow from one of its all-time greats.
One thing about the race, to me, I wasn't even interested in things because to me, nothing was interesting on it.
Petty's frustration highlights a growing disconnect between old-school drivers and the current NASCAR format, especially when it comes to road courses and the playoff system. And he didn't stop at criticizing the Roval. Richard Petty has never been a fan of NASCAR's playoff structure, but now, as whispers grow about potential 2026 changes, he's gone full throttle with his criticism. Responding to a fan's question about whether he prefers the 10-race chase or the modern playoff format, Petty didn't hesitate. I still think that to have a champion of NASCAR, that is a year-long championship. It's not a 1-race championship, it's not a 4-race championship. If we run 36 races, who is the best out of those 36? They should be the champion.
I still think to have a champion of NASCAR, that is a year-long championship. It's not a 1-race championship. It's not a 4-race championship. It should be, if we run 36 races, who is the best out of those 36? They should be the champion.
That's not just an opinion, it's a challenge to the entire system. Petty is calling for a return to the roots, where the season-long grind determined greatness. No gimmicks, no eliminations, just racing. The system Petty is criticizing has created moments, no doubt. Ryan Blaney's 2023 title run was made possible by a few clutch playoff wins, even though his regular season was fairly average. Same with Logano in 2024, a lackluster start followed by a red-hot playoff performance earned him the crown. But Petty's point is this: should the championship go to the hottest driver over 10 races or the most consistent driver over 36? It's a fair question, and it's one that divides the fan base. To understand Petty's frustration, just look back at Matt Kenseth's 2003 championship. He only won 1 race but managed 25 top 10 finishes, a model of consistency that gave him the title. That season led to the introduction of The Chase, NASCAR's first version of the playoffs. While Petty prefers tradition, Joey Logano is the modern system's biggest defender. After barely edging out Chastain at the Roval, Logano was fired up. The playoffs create drama. They create storylines, they create awesome moments like that. I don't understand what people don't like about it. For Logano, NASCAR's playoffs are about excitement. He believes every point matters, every race counts, and the tension it creates is what fans love. His view? If the regular season didn't lead to these do-or-die races, would anyone be talking? He didn't stop there. Logano even addressed the critics directly. If you're one of those people who say the regular season doesn't matter, playoff points don't matter, 1 point would have been the difference there. I preach that all the time. I'm not just saying that because it works for us. I'm saying it because it's true. Then, taking a shot at the Roval critics, he added, if you don't have cutoff races and things like that, what are you even talking about today? How Shane waxed everyone's buh? That's what you want? I'm just saying, this playoff format is wicked. Richard Petty's biggest issue isn't just with the format, it's what the format represents. In his day, championships were earned through grueling, season-long consistency. A driver had to be smart, fast, durable, and maybe a little lucky, week in and week out. Now, a driver can limp through the first two-thirds of the season, get hot in the playoffs, and walk away with the trophy. To a legend like Petty, that doesn't feel like racing justice. He built his legacy on grinding out wins and top finishes every single week. The idea that a driver can underperform for most of the year and still end up as champion is an idea he can't get behind. Even the drama at the Roval couldn't convince Petty. Sure, Logano and Chastain gave fans something to talk about, but the winner was essentially unchallenged. And for Petty, if the win feels inevitable, the rest doesn't matter. He and Inman even agreed that watching these races live from the stands is disorienting. Without major lead changes or dynamic passes, fans can easily lose the plot. It's a far cry from the nail-biters Petty once dominated. Petty's harsh verdict on both the Roval race and the playoff system has added fuel to a debate that's been simmering for years. On one side, fans who grew up watching the likes of Petty, Earnhardt, and Wallace agree that today's NASCAR feels overproduced. On the other, a younger audience embraces the drama, the eliminations, and the playoff structure that creates viral moments. There's no clear consensus, but what's undeniable is that Petty's words carry weight. This growing divide between the legends and the new guard is only getting wider. On one side, you have veterans like Petty calling for a return to a points-based championship. On the other, current stars like Logano pushing for drama and spectacle. NASCAR finds itself stuck in the middle. The sport wants to honor its roots while appealing to modern audiences who crave action and unpredictability. Is there a solution that satisfies both? Some have proposed a hybrid system, keeping the playoff excitement but weighting the regular season more heavily. Others want a full return to the classic points model. The 2026 playoff rumors could be the tipping point. If NASCAR decides to tweak the system again, it might be time to strike a balance. Maybe a hybrid format that emphasizes both season-long performance and clutch playoff execution. Because right now, the current model is polarizing. It delivers moments but sacrifices merit. And when Richard Petty says the current path isn't working, the industry should pay attention. Whether you agree with him or not, one thing is clear. When the king speaks, it's worth listening. And this time, he didn't just criticize a race. He questioned the future of the sport he helped build. Stay tuned, because this story isn't over. Not by a long shot.
Can you do some more racing next year?
Yeah, we're planning on coming back. Part-time? Yeah, part-time.
Cletus McFarland is about to shock the racing world. The YouTuber who made his name with wild burnouts and crazy car stunts is stepping back into real competition. In 2026, he's returning to the track, chasing a dream that many thought was impossible. The question is, can an internet star actually fight his way to the top levels of NASCAR? Cletus, whose real name is Garrett Mitchell, first got famous on YouTube. He built his brand with wild car builds, crazy stunts, and loud horsepower that drew millions of viewers. His fun style and love for racing made him one of the biggest automotive creators online. Unlike many others, he always wanted to take his passion from the garage to the racetrack, which pushed him into professional racing. His first major step came in ARCA, the series often seen as a gateway into NASCAR. In 2023, he made headlines when he attempted his first short-track start at Bristol. For anyone who has followed Bristol, they know it is not the place for beginners. It's a half-mile bullring where even veterans get humbled. Cletus qualified 27th and managed to run only 61 of the 200 scheduled laps. A right front tire failure sent him into the wall and ended his night early. He was open about the disappointment, but also about what he had learned. The challenges of managing the car, tire wear, and traffic on such a small and intense circuit gave him an immediate education in what racing at this level really requires. That debut was far from glamorous, but it didn't scare him off. In fact, it set the stage for what came next. Over the following seasons, Cletus continued to chase ARCA starts, particularly at the super speedways. By 2025, he had entered 4 different ARCA races. These included major stops at Daytona, Talladega, Charlotte, and of course, Bristol once again. This time, the results were far more promising. He managed to earn 2 top 10 finishes, including a strong run at Talladega and another at Charlotte. Those results turned some heads in the garage because few expected a YouTuber to hang inside the top 10 against serious competition. Still, Cletus remained his usual self in interviews, admitting that he got his butt kicked plenty of times along the way. He pointed out that racing is unforgiving, and he had to respect the craft, the preparation, and the years of experience his competitors had. Instead of getting discouraged, he treated every setback as another lesson, something that his fans resonated with. They weren't just watching a creator throw himself into racing for views, they were watching him grow as a driver.
All right. Reactions to first ARCA Bristol race.
I got my butt kicked, man.
Then came the announcement in September 2025. Standing on pit road at Bristol, the very same track where he made his rough debut, Cletus confirmed that he will return in 2026 for a part-time ARCA schedule. This wasn't a vague tease. His team owner at Retta Jones Racing explained that they're lining up somewhere between 8 to 10 ARCA races for the season, along with additional super late model starts. That's a significant commitment and shows this isn't just about dabbling anymore, it's about building consistency and proving he can belong in the racing world. The plan for 2026 is important for two reasons. First, it gives Cletus the chance to log more laps, more experience, and more time with his crew. In motorsports, repetition and familiarity are everything. Second, it positions him for his bigger long-term goal, which he has not been shy about. He has said he wants to compete in the Daytona 500, possibly by 2027 or 2028. That's one of the most ambitious jumps imaginable, but he is setting the groundwork to at least make it a possibility. Source. Of course, that dream comes with plenty of speculation and rumors. Earlier this year, chatter began spreading that Cletus might be involved in NASCAR's Truck Series, with whispers about possible manufacturer backing, particularly from Ram. The rumor mill spun fast, with some people even suggesting a path that would take him directly into NASCAR's National Series. However, Ram's CEO was quick to deny any involvement, putting a stop to that storyline. For now, the focus remains on ARCA, but the fact that these kinds of rumors even exist shows how much excitement Cletus has generated. The road ahead won't be simple. Racing costs a lot, and even with fans and sponsors, it's tough to fund. On top of that, some people doubt him. Supporters cheer him on, but critics say he doesn't belong or is taking a spot from another driver. That mix of doubt and support is what makes his story so compelling. Despite the doubts, there's no denying the cultural impact. Cletus brings an entirely new audience to the track. His millions of subscribers follow him because of his entertaining content, and many of them had never watched a NASCAR race before. By stepping into ARCA and potentially beyond, he bridges the gap between digital entertainment and traditional motorsports. NASCAR has been trying to capture younger audiences for years, and a personality like Cletus does exactly that. He creates a storyline that resonates both online and at the track. 2026 will be his real test. He has around 10 ARCA starts lined up, facing super speedways, intermediates, and short tracks. Each track type will push a different skill, and he needs to show he can handle them all. His late model runs will also sharpen him on smaller circuits. Every lap will matter, with fans, sponsors, and teams all watching to see if he's a racer or just a YouTuber. At the same time, he'll still need to juggle his growing brand with life at the track. It's a tough balance. On one side, Cletus runs a huge business with videos, events, and merch. On the other, he's chasing one of the hardest dreams in racing. But he's always proven people wrong. From burnout videos to building one of the biggest car brands online, he now wants to do the same in motorsports. 2026 feels different. He's not just trying to survive like in 2023, or testing the waters like in 2025. This time, he has real backing, a set plan, and enough races to prove himself. Now, he'll either silence the doubters or confirm what they've said all along. The question becomes, what happens if he succeeds? Imagine the storyline if Cletus begins running consistently inside the top 10 or even scores a podium finish. The credibility that would bring, not just to him but to content creators in general, would be massive. Suddenly, the idea of a YouTuber in NASCAR wouldn't be a joke but a legitimate possibility. That kind of breakthrough could change how teams, sponsors, and fans view the pipeline into the sport. Looking ahead to 2026, the bigger picture is clear. NASCAR wants new fans, and Cletus brings them. His millions of followers may now tune into races, buy tickets, or grab team gear. That crossover power is huge. This isn't just one driver chasing a dream. It's two worlds colliding, online creators and traditional racing. Whether Cletus breaks through or not, his story is one of the most unique in motorsports. So will Cletus McFarland prove he belongs on the track, or will 2026 show the limits of a creator chasing NASCAR glory? Either way, when the green flag waves on his ARCA return, the racing world will be watching.
He's done that the entire race, from the drop of the green flag, spin in the back.
Multi-car incident. Cars going everywhere. Van Gisbergen, Keselowski, Haley skipped through there. Busch involved.
Shane van Gisbergen's day at New Hampshire started like a dream, but ended in smoke and heartbreak. He showed speed, control, and even scored stage points, his best oval run yet. But one crash flipped everything upside down. The wreck left his car in pieces and his race ruined, raising one big question. What does this mean for NASCAR's bold rookie? But instead of celebrating a career-best finish, his weekend ended in smoke, wreckage, and bitter disappointment. His promising NASCAR Cup Series run was derailed by a major crash, marking one of the toughest moments of his transition from supercars to American stock car racing. SVG started the day strong in the number 88 Chevrolet Camaro for Trackhouse Racing, lining up 10th, his best oval qualifying effort in a points-paying NASCAR Cup Series event. The New Zealander moved quickly through the pack, climbing as high as 6th during the early stages. He demonstrated smooth car control, clean overtakes, and great tire management, a rare feat for someone still new to ovals. Even more impressive, Van Gisbergen scored his first stage points on an oval by finishing 7th in Stage 1. This was a major milestone for the Kiwi, who's been steadily adapting to the aggressive, contact-heavy nature of NASCAR's oval circuits. Up to that point, his run had been clean, calculated, and full of promise. But as is often the case in NASCAR, chaos struck. The race turned sour on lap 118 during a restart. As the tightly packed field charged into Turn 2, Brad Keselowski attempted an inside move but scraped the wall and made contact with Van Gisbergen's car. The hit sent SVG into a slide, spinning twice directly in front of traffic. Kyle Busch, with nowhere to go, slammed into him. Daniel Suarez, SVG's teammate, and Justin Haley were also collected in the wreck. It was a chain reaction that left several cars damaged and several races ruined. Van Gisbergen's car suffered severe front suspension damage. His crew, refusing to give up, made rapid repairs and got the car back on track. But by then, he was over 50 laps down and far from contending. He finished 32nd. The outcome was a heartbreaking blow for both SVG and Trackhouse Racing, who had shown such strong pace earlier in the event. SVG spoke to reporters post-race, clearly disappointed. It was frustrating because the car was really strong, and we were running well. I felt good on the long runs, and it could have been a solid result for us. Earlier in the race, SVG had a minor incident with Josh Berry on lap 82, tapping the number, 21 car, and spinning him out. That moment added to the tension around SVG's aggressive style, but didn't detract from his overall speed and potential. Keselowski's failed inside move wasn't deliberate, but was risky. His slight misjudgment triggered a high-speed mess that affected not just Van Gisbergen, but other key drivers. Kyle Busch, who was gaining momentum in the race, had his day ruined. Daniel Suarez, looking for a solid finish to gain playoff points, was taken out through no fault of his own. SVG's crash is another chapter in what has been a whirlwind rookie season for him in NASCAR. He stunned the motorsports world by winning on his Cup Series debut at the Chicago Street Race in 2023. Since then, his full-time NASCAR journey has been under a microscope. Each race has brought new learning curves, and despite the crash, his speed at New Hampshire showed how quickly he's improving.
Yeah, I'm happy but frustrated, proud, privileged to be here, but also pissed at myself. The last few weeks I just haven't been good enough. I've been really doing well, getting better at ovals, and I just haven't performed the last couple of weeks.
Trackhouse Racing, the team SVG races for, has been instrumental in helping international talent like SVG find footing in American stock car racing. Team owner Justin Marks has emphasized long-term development and is known for taking risks on unique talents. SVG's inclusion in the team is a testament to that vision. Meanwhile, the race itself concluded with Ryan Blaney securing a hard-fought victory. Blaney held off a late charge from Josh Berry to lock in his spot in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs round of 8. It was Blaney's first win in several weeks, and it came at a critical time. He praised Berry post-race. "Probably the hardest 20 laps I've driven. He got super free. I appreciate him racing clean and not putting the bumper to me." Blaney's victory shifted attention away from the wreckage behind him, but not for long. Fans and analysts immediately zeroed in on the lap 118 crash that changed the outcome for several contenders. discussion swirled online, with many pointing out how difficult it is for new drivers, especially international ones like SVG, to survive the unpredictability of NASCAR restarts.